Hello, Timeless Gamer crew, and thanks for having me on the show again in this episode of Strategy RPGs. My choices, obviously, they're going to be Sega choices. I've got to represent my boys, and the Sega ones I'm going to pick both, Sega Megadrive all through. First, we're going to start with the legendary Shining Force 2. Okay, Shining Force 2, and it's a 1993 game, sequel to the original Shining Force, obviously. And it's very much cited for being an RPG that introduced and got a lot of people into RPGs in general. A lot of games are credited with that, but a lot of people I know who weren't into RPGs got into it via Shining Force 2. And in the Sega groups that I'm on, it's widely hailed as that. So it's got that feather in its cap anyway. But it's a fantastic little game, and it's got a lot of things that set it apart. I mean, it's a great game anyway. It's got a lot of very good, well-designed tactical battles that work well, and they've all got something a little bit different, a little bit interesting going off with them, and they're great in themselves. But what really sets Shining Force 2 apart from a lot of other strategy RPGs is that it still contains exploration, like you would have in a traditional JRPG. You can talk to people around towns, you can find a lot of secrets, there are secret areas and secret characters to be found, and it gives the game a lot of depth and character, and it just works amazingly. It's quite astounding that certain inferior series like Fire Emblem didn't copy that formula at an early stage, really, or an earlier stage. Shining Force 2 just had this amazing formula, and nobody tried to copy it for years, but hey ho. But yeah, what sets it apart is it's extremely replayable. Okay, I replay it at least once a year, and the main reasons for that is number one, it's got a wide range of characters you can choose from. It's a large roster, and at this roster there's quite a few secret characters, so chances are if you're not a pussy and you're playing it through properly without a guide, then you're not going to find all your characters on your first playthrough, which obviously gives games more replayability. So that's a great thing. But as well as that wide roster, you can also experiment with different changes in various characters' careers. Not every single character has it, but some characters can get special items that give them a different career path, which is again more replayability. To add to that, as well as the secrets and the roster, you've also got multiple difficulty levels, which were pretty unheard of for an RPG of that era. You've got 4 difficulty levels here, and what's even better is the 2 hardest difficulty levels take a different approach to how they're difficult. Okay, well, I believe one was actually a programming mistake, but basically what happens is one of them turns the AI really aggressive and makes him go for your healers and your main character. And your main character, if your main character dies, you lose the battle instantly, regardless of how the rest of your troops are doing. And the other approach is that it increases the enemy attack power significantly. So again, it gives you, when you play through both these approaches, you can't approach the battles in the same way, or you don't end up winning. And it just, between all these little elements, you've got just a superb top-tier game that's got a ton of replayability, a ton of charm, a ton of accessibility. It's really simple and really easy to get into. But it's got a lot of depth as well because of these elements. So honestly, Shining Force 2, play it. It's a fantastic strategy RPG. If you're into it, you're missing out if you ain't playing it, I'll tell you. The other one I'm going to pick, again, Sega Megadrive, is Warsong. Now, Warsong's more traditional strategy RPG, much like it is. The exploration elements aren't there. It is literally bit of story onto a battle, bit of story onto a battle. And what makes it so great is it's just got a supremely brilliant balanced challenge. It's got a gameplay mechanic whereby you employ troops, okay, and you evolve your character. Each character has several different paths that can go along. Yeah, I mean, you can end up a dragon knight, you can end up a normal knight, you can end up a warlock, or I mean, and that again, how you build your squads contributes a lot to how you play through the game. but you also have troops, and how you progress through this character tree determines what kind of troops you get as well. So that's something else to think about. It works really great because, like I say, that main mechanic is that your troops, the nearer they are to you, the stronger they are to you, and if they fall outside of like an area of command, they become incredibly weak. So that really adds a lot of strategy RPGs don't have that element, and it really adds a different approach to how you have to attack the enemies and position your troops and people, because if they're straight too far from your commander, it's the difference between winning and losing. And each troop, it's basically got a rock, paper, scissors methods of how it employs troop types, but it's deeper than that. And it's just a supremely balanced game when it comes to gameplay. It really is. It's fantastic. It's got wicked banging tunes that accompany it. Tunes that you wouldn't think could be in a strategy RPG, especially fancy one. It's got like techno beats and everything. It's really, really great. And it's got a nice meaty challenge. It's got a really, really nice meaty challenge. So, this challenge it includes permadeath. So permadeath's always a great, it's always a great thing to have, because you lose a character, your character dies, boom, that's it, it's dead, done. So it's it's really great from that angle. It's a really, really nice meaty game, and I'll give its sequel an honourable mention. Now, overall, I'd say its sequel, Langrisser 2, which is actually a Japanese exclusive game, but you can obviously get an English patch for it now. Langrisser 2 is probably the better game, but I would say to everybody, play Warsong first, because it just works better that way. Like I played it that way, and I'm so glad I did, because it works better. The gameplay mechanics that evolve from the first game, Warsong, in Langrisser 2, that does make it, like I said, it makes it a better game. There's a lot more secrets to be found in there that you can search on maps for, but it loses permadeath, which I do feel waters it down a bit. And it's a real shame there wasn't an option to include permadeath in the second game. Even if you're added your default setting as no permadeath, including permadeath would have just made it really, really nice. But again, it's another fantastic game. All the goodness of the first one, just tweaked and refined, and with great tunes again. Great battle challenges. What makes the second one probably really stand out is that a lot of the battles change up about halfway through. You get different dynamics, surprises that occur throughout the battles, and that really keeps you on your toes. Definitely. Now, this game, Langrisser 2, is also on the Super Nintendo. And the Super Nintendo, well, it's on a lot of, actually, both of these games are on a lot of systems. It got remade many times. On the Super Nintendo especially, because that's the one I've also played a lot of. But on the other versions that I played the recent remakes. They include a lot more story. So if you're a story guy and you're a bit of a fanny and you're not really into combat, then that might be the way to go. Personally, I think they're all shit compared to the Mega Drive versions, because they're so easy. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. They've ruined them, completely ruined them. And the Super Nintendo version, it is honest to God, it is so weak. It's a baby's game. You can play through the Super Nintendo version without losing a troop. Never mind losing a commander. Never mind losing a battle. You know what I mean? It's a 1-year-old game, and the later version that I played were pretty much the same. So I'm not saying don't try them, but if you want the proper experience, go for Warsong and Langrisser on the Sega Mega Drive, where they actually treat you like with respect. They respect your intelligence. They respect that you're not of a baby level brain, really. So yeah, I'm just feeling badly even thinking about it. Ugh, God, I hated playing the Super Nintendo version. It was horrible. But they were 3 games, so check them out. All on Sega Mega Drive. They're all fantastic, and keep your games aimless.